people deal with fear in very different ways.
Yes, they do.
So
yes, they do.
I think what I loved is that even though this play is very old in many eyes, it is very relevant to some situations and personalities today.
Welcome to Steps to the Stage, a 7th Street Community Theater podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. We are so excited today. The first production of 2026 for CCT is The Ghost Train. And this is, I did a little bit of research ahead of time, you guys. So before I introduce our wonderful guests, I'm just going to go through some of this because it was pretty exciting going through that, because I'll be very honest with you. Until I saw the release that this was coming out, I had not heard of The Ghost Train, other than that horror film, South Korean thing that came out a couple of years ago. Or maybe it was even last year. And it's like, it's the same story, but they give no credit to this. So anyway, that's a side note. This is by Englishman Arnold Ridley, and he was an actor and a playwright. And this was written in 1923. And please correct me if any of this is wrong. I'm using that very factual Wikipedia, that is always fact-checked completely. And this was based on a real-life experience where he was riding through the countryside and there was train issues and he got stuck in the station overnight and some weird things happened. And so he actually wrote this play based upon that experience. And then it premiered in Brighton, and then it transferred to London at the St. Martin's Theatre. And it actually did not get very good reviews when it first came out, but it was sold out from 1925 to 1927 at that theater in London. So, who knows, right? Here we are to the modern day, and we are with our director, Patel, and two of our wonderful actors, Jamie Putnam and Craig A. Jackman. And we're just going to talk about this wonderful production that's going to be on the stage. Sage and I just walked through the stage and talked about some of the tech part right now. So I'm really excited about this, you guys, and I'm really excited to hear about the journey to our opening night, which is coming up January 16th. The run goes through the 31st, and tickets are available now. So you can go online to the ChinoCommunityTheater.org, or you can call our box office at area code 909-590-1149 and secure your tickets that way. Sage, welcome.
Thank you for having us. I'm excited.
It's absolutely our pleasure. Now, this is actually your second time on the show. You were on just our last episode for a show that you did in Riverside. Yeah. And just real quick, how did that all go?
It went wonderful. It was a beautiful show.
Love it.
We had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, Christmas Carol's done everywhere, and we had our steampunk version, and it was very successful.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Sage, why don't you just real quick before we talk a little bit with Jamie and Craig, just tell me about the process getting into this, choosing this selection, and if I'm not mistaken, this is your first time directing here in Chino, but obviously you've directed before. And I know you've been involved in many, many different productions here on a variety of different levels as an actor, helping with projections and several other things. So just give us a little bit of insight into that process.
Yeah. So the Ghost Train I actually pitched. I pitched it 2 years ago. It didn't quite make the cut then. And then I pitched it again last year, before we picked this season. And it got picked. And I was pretty excited, except I was doing Christmas Carol. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know that I can go from one show to another and have some sanity.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So it did work out that I interviewed and I said, well, if you guys feel like I need help, let me know. I am co-directing with Christopher Gomez, and basically working together to get the show out next week. When I read this script, I was searching because we have to look for, what kind of shows we want to pitch and what would work for the theater, what would work for our audiences. And so when I read this script, I mean, it is an older script, but there are a lot of ideas and characters in the script that, hey, like today, have you ever been stranded in a place with a bunch of strangers? That probably does happen. Today, yesterday, time before that. So the story itself, and then when you're with a bunch of strangers, you may be in a place that you're kind of unsure about, or something's happening, something's going on. You're getting to know these different people. These people also have their lives that they've been living before they got into this place. I found these characters were very interesting, even for the 1923 time frame.
Yeah.
You have two couples, one that just got married, one that's on that is separating. You have the woman in that couple that's separating. That's very I'm a woman. I'm independent. I know I'm not scared of anything. 1923 script.
Yeah.
So there's so much for these characters to play with. You have all kinds of characters. You have a lady that, she's a spinster, or a widowed. What she is, she loves her bird, and she's in there, and she's just very dramatic. And you have another character that is just got a goofball character that's in there that just laughing with the situation. People deal with fear in very different ways.
Yes, they do.
So
yes, they do.
I think what I loved is that even though this play is very old in many eyes, it is very relevant to some situations and personalities today.
Now, are you using the 20s, the time period it was set in, as in the current production?
We're going probably about 1930, 33, around that arena of time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and I appreciate you giving me that insight. And like I said, doing the research, I just got so excited about the possibilities, right? And then just seeing so many, I mean, they made an opera out of this. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
They've made films. They did a radio broadcast. So it was just exciting to me. And then when you read about the plot, I don't want to give a lot away, but you read the plot and you're just like, oh my gosh, this should have like 5 sequels. Because I can imagine it goes into some pretty, I mean, dark yet comedic parts as well.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing that with us. And again, very excited to see this. Jamie, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We are so excited. You are a veteran of this stage, and you've been in so many different productions, and I'm glad to have seen part of them. And I think you've even worked with a few of my family members on a few things. But welcome, and let's hear a little bit before we get into your current role, just about your acting journey up to this point.
Okay, well, this is my 4th show.
Wonderful.
Here at Chino. I absolutely love the community here, and it's been an honor to be a part of it. I was also on the play selection committee 2 years ago when Sage first presented this play.
Yeah.
And so I was very thrilled when I heard that we were going to do it this year, because there was a role I really, really wanted to play.
Right away.
I'm pretty excited.
That's great. And so, have you been acting forever? Since a child, or did you just start in later? Like myself, I didn't act until 4 or 5 years ago was the first time that I had ever done a production. So
right. Well, I just came back to it about 6 years ago.
Okay.
I acted in high school and in college. I
love it.
I have a theater degree from Cal State Fullerton.
Fantastic.
But
Go Titans.
Go Titans.
Go Titans.
Absolutely. But then I became a teacher, and I did not have the energy to be a kindergarten teacher and act in the classroom all day.
Oh, there's plenty of drama going on in the classroom.
and do theater at night. So after I retired, a friend of mine was doing a show at the Grove Theater in Upland.
Yes.
And she needed an understudy. She just out of the blue asked if I would be her understudy. She'd never seen me perform before.
Yeah.
She'd seen me in dance class, but that was it.
Okay.
And so
Look at you, an all-around performer.
So I
dancing, acting.
So I became her understudy, and I ended up doing 7 performances for her. And so
how wonderful.
I was so blessed to have that opportunity, and then the bug bit me, and I've been doing shows. I've done shows at Lewis Family Playhouse, Cat Corona, Rialto,
There's
and
so
the Grove
many
Theater.
theaters in the Inland Empire, and one of the reasons why we're trying to expand this podcast, and we've already been able to do a few over at Riverside, but so many other great theaters and that we do need to spend more time with, and we definitely will. But it's great to hear that your journey has taken you to a lot of those.
Oh, it's really fun to just, it's such a tight community, and there's so many people that are at all of these different places, and you
Yeah.
make new friends, and they follow you or you follow them, and you get to reconnect. And it's just an amazing community, our theater community.
I say it every episode. The community is really the people that are here in front of me and involved backstage. And we haven't, go ahead.
I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed working with your girls, both of them.
Thank you so much.
They were both
I'm a little biased.
They were
but
both stage managers for shows that I did.
Yes.
And I think your youngest daughter was still in high school.
Probably, yeah.
When
She's in her sophomore year in college now. So,
when
yeah.
she was our stage manager for Jutalian.
Love that.
And I remember
That's
telling her,
right.
I want to be you when I grow up. You're so wonderful. She was just so poised and amazingly in control and calm and professional. I was just so impressed.
I'll say this, and I accept that. And as great parenting as I think what you just said, I mean, sorry, I'm being the people that I spoke about earlier when we were talking before we went on air. When you think about the Larsons and you think about the Rices and all the other people and all the different theaters that are around here, how lucky was I as a parent to have my kids involved in such a wonderful place like this.
Absolutely.
To be able to have that poise. And then, which I've mentioned many times, and of course, because I like to brag about my children, but they're getting their education, right? You got your education at Fullerton.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of them's at Northridge and now in Ottawa, getting her master's. The other one's at Long Beach. And it's so great. But it's amazing to know that you were a teacher for so many years, because we have so much respect for what they do. And they don't get enough.
Thank you.
They definitely do not get enough acknowledgement for what they do. But I'm very thankful that my kids have had such great teachers and mentors throughout. Character that you're playing in this particular production?
Okay, my character is Miss Bourne. She is a little spinster lady who is in love with her bird because she doesn't really have children that she could dote on, so she dotes on her bird. She lives with her sister, and she was traveling solo, and so she's a little out of her element. It's just
Okay.
her and her bird.
Yeah.
And she's stuck in this unfortunate situation, being stuck overnight in this pretty scary
Yeah.
railway station
Yeah.
in a storm.
All right. Well, and I love that you had mentioned that when you were part of the play selection committee that you had actually, so it's been a couple of years that you've been thinking about this. So,
Right.
And were you familiar with the production at the time, was it new to you when you were
It was absolutely
reviewing
new
it?
to me.
Okay.
I had never heard of this show before.
Yeah.
Sage made a very nice presentation and made it sound very attractive.
Yeah.
So I was really thrilled to have this opportunity.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know if I'd have a chance. We've got some great older actresses in this community particularly. And so I was very honored to be selected to get to play this role.
Yes, that's marvelous.
And
Well,
having a ball.
Thank you so much. Craig,
Yes.
I would love to hear about your story and about the role you're playing and just learn more about you, because again, this is our first time really interacting. So
Yes, it is.
I'm sure I've seen you in other productions before, but I'm glad to be able to actually sit across face to face and learn more about you.
Well, thank you very much. I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what Jamie was saying. And even Sedge, this is an amazing community here in the Inland Empire. And I've been acting kind of off and on. And I started maybe when I was 7 years old. My mom took me to one of those casting calls.
Okay.
The kind that you eventually have to pay for
Yeah.
in order to get your child in and work.
Exactly.
And then my mom, once she realized what that was all about, she said, "No, I don't think so." But I'm kind of a gregarious person when talking to people. What I love is that I have a kind of a oddball sense of humor because of my scoutmaster.
Okay.
He was
Go Scouts. I spent time in Scouts,
and your rank.
I made it to I made it to Tenderfoot.
Okay.
Is that no? I made it two below Eagle. I don't remember. I was two below Eagle.
think that's-
Life. Life.
It was life.
Life rank, yeah.
Yeah, life.
Okay. Well, at least that shows that you have heart.
I do. I hit high school and I started playing sports.
And that's the tough part, because
And it
I did
was-
make it all the way to flying
Yeah.
with the birds.
But
maybe that's why I'm being called a bird brain too. But that's beside the point.
but great mentors and great experiences.
absolutely.
And I have very fond memories of camping with my dad and doing things like that. So sorry.
No, that's
Back
fine.
to your history.
Well, and so I've dabbled. Mostly what I was interested in when I really started getting out there was radio. I love the whole idea of theater of the mind. One of the things I'd love to share is that when my mom and dad divorced, my dad lived in Fresno. My mom was down here in Southern California. And so my mom, when we would go to see my dad, would drive up. We'd drive up after she worked on the weekends. And at night, at about 9 o'clock, the Radio Mystery Theater on CBS Radio, and here it was KNX News Radio, would go on. And so it was funny because there's my mom and my two other siblings, my sister and brother. The whole car would go silent during that whole hour. And we were so intent on listening to the stories of the Radio Mystery Theater. And I've always loved that.
Yeah.
And so I've got into, I think it was my first theater gig was in Cyprus.
Okay.
And it was because somebody just said, why don't you just come out and audition? And I knew this friend from a community group I was involved with. And so I went there and I thought, okay, fine, no problem. I got a role and it was a good role. And then I continued to do more. And so I built up a nice little community out there. Went to Bellflower, and then just things happened, and I went on kind of a 15-year hiatus.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
In fact, the last episode, we had a gentleman that was on a 20-year hiatus that came back, and the episode before that was a 30-year hiatus for the gentleman that was playing.
Eric on 34th
yes,
Street.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was playing Kris Kringle. The gentleman had been 30 years.
In fact, that was the show that I came back with when it was at Lewis Playhouse years ago.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
But in the between, I did audio, voiceover, MC work for a company I used to work for. So I was still dabbling in kind of the performance. And then came Miracle on 34th Street, and I was like, okay, I'm hooked. I'm back in. And the interesting thing was I never thought Inland Valley or Inland Empire would be a big theater community.
Right.
Which blew me away because then all of a sudden I'm doing other productions with IVRT, Tibby's Playhouse over in Fontana when it was going, the Grove Theater, and right here.
Yeah.
And this has been just an amazing journey to come back. So I'm excited to do shows here, and I'm calling this my home theater now.
Love
the
that.
The people here are incredible.
You're not going to get an argument from me in that one, sir.
I agree too.
I mean, every theater has its wonderful people and its uniqueness and everything. Of course, this is where I've started as well. So there's just something about, again, what the Larsons created and just the energy that's around here, both in the children and the adults theater. It's just, I mean, it's changed our lives. There's just no two ways about it. Both of my children are getting their education in theater because of this theater.
Absolutely.
So,
and it's not just those people; it's the actors too. When you can go to a different theater, and they're I remember working with you. It's like, wow, I don't
remember that time in Chino.
Exactly. And that is what makes it. I get to work with people like Jamie, who I've worked on a show with before here. And there's another 2 people in the cast that I've worked with in other productions. Yeah. And it's just really cool to get together and work with them, not just now, but even before and continue to down the road.
Yeah, isn't it great? And so what role are you playing in this particular
I'm playing
production?
Teddy Deacon.
Okay.
He's sort of a pest.
Okay.
And he loves this kind of atmosphere that he's in. He's poking and prodding and wants to find out more about this and that.
Yeah.
And he wants to, interact with the people. And it's fun. It's a great role. I love it. And there's so much that can be done. He's like looking around. He's the kind of person who, if you invite them into your home, he's going to look around and he's going to kind of, oh, do this. Oh, this looks interesting. What is this all about?
Yeah.
So he's got a really cool role, a really nice character to work with. And it's, he's taken in by this whole thing and by what's happening with the ghost train. So it is fun.
That's great. And it sounds like a role you're going to really enjoy and be able to make your own.
Absolutely.
And the audiences are going to enjoy that. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing your story with me. Back to you, Sage. Help me understand casting and, we talk about this a lot on our episodes here. Like, I love this theater, but it's small. And it's a unique stage, and it's nice that we do have a backstage and green rooms and dressing rooms and stuff. But it's a unique place to stage a play on, to stage a production on. Tell me a little bit about what went into all that, as well as the casting.
The casting. Let me start with the casting. So the cast consists of 13 actors. The casting itself, the auditioning, we had a large amount of auditioners come out, surprisingly, because it's in that holiday time frame. So my expectation was like, we might have to call a few people. Literally, I came in with
that.
And that does happen, because who wants to be at rehearsals
right after the holidays,
Christmas, and then New
Year's Day.
New Year's Day. Sorry,
New Year's Day.
We did do New Year's Day.
Yes, we did.
On Zoom. So, hey. But, so when we had the amount of auditioners, I was blown away. I was like, oh gosh, this is going to be really tough.
Yeah.
And surprisingly enough, as you know, you usually have more women that show up than men. Well, guess what happened? We had way more men show up than women.
And I mean, and I need to let our audience know, like, this has been an issue since I started here back in, I think, 2016.
Yep.
And in fact, the reason why I got in the first role that I went into, it was Mamma Mia. And, there's the three dads, and they had, enough that showed up for some of the other roles, but they were missing a few key roles. So Abby, my youngest, comes knocking on the door and says, "Dad, get your butt in there." I mean, that is the true story.
Got recruited.
And I got recruited. And so that's always been an issue here.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I just want to say, I want to give a shout out to the people at Rialto, because I had just done a show in Rialto, and a bunch of the guys that were in the show with me in Rialto came out to audition. And although they didn't get cast in this show, I know they're going to be back.
Yeah.
And I know that they're going to be
And
here
I'm glad.
auditioning, because we need that bigger pool of men.
Mhm.
Yep.
And they were a range of ages. There was people closer to my age, and there were kids right out of high school. So it was really fun to see all the men that were here.
And that's amazing, because and it blew me away. But like casting, we're lucky to have the cast we have. I mean, we have Alexander Rise, who's new. He's new. He came from Long Beach, and now he's out here.
Yeah.
He just came and he looked us up, and he's like, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. He came out, and he's amazing. He was in the reveal. He actually did the station master role because Caden Fox, who plays the station master, was not available. And we have Lena Camacho, who has done shows here and elsewhere.
Yeah.
We have Teddy Setlick and Rain Reza.
Yeah.
They're both amazing. I'm going to end up missing somebody, and I don't.
Samantha.
We have Samantha Armentier.
I know Samantha. She does a lot of tech, and her and I have worked together on our new sound system.
Right, and she came from the Children's Theater.
Yes, and she was actually, we shared this. She was in the very first production that I ever saw here, which was a Coney Island Christmas.
Ooh, okay.
So we actually had a history. It's that story like you were talking about. You didn't realize how many different great theaters here. I've lived in Chino since 1999. Drove by this theater maybe a couple thousand times, and did not come until 2016 was the first time that I came after being here for 17 years.
Yeah.
And, of course, was blown away. But she was in the very first production that I saw.
Yeah.
So.
And then we have Tony Jacksa, who has done shows here, I believe in like 2019 timeframe. He came back. and Phil Parker, who is also my sound designer, and he's
worked with Phil on a couple of different shows.
He's so amazing with detail,
and just an amazing guy.
Yes, he's an
so
amazing
much fun.
person.
Like he's a music guy, so we were just up there talking back and forth.
And he's a great punster too, because he and I pun back and forth.
Love that.
Yeah. And then we have Megan Jeffis, who actually also looked us up, and she's with us. And then Paul Saldana, who's done plenty of shows.
Paul's amazing.
Yeah, and he's amazing on stage, backstage, helping out. And Dylan Gangula, who is my son.
Do you know this individual? Have you seen some of his work before? Or
I have.
Did he come highly rated?
He did.
Okay, good.
He's been trained really well.
I like that.
Two thumbs up.
Very good.
Four thumbs up.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a great cast. The staging, it was different because obviously my first directing was at Riverside, which is in the round.
Yeah.
And then coming here, I was like, this is very interesting. So I didn't have to, in blocking, the actors really were able to freestyle a little bit, whereas I only had to block maybe just the major action that needed specific blocking. So that was kind of nice because it's a 3-act show.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, and they're all stuck in this room. It's not like there's points where there's maybe a couple people on stage, but the entire play, everybody's on stage.
Yeah.
Some of us are really stuck on stage.
Well,
we won't give away
what happens.
Yeah,
some of us are really stuck.
Get your tickets now.
Yes.
Find out what Jamie's referring to.
Yep. So staging it was kind of fun, and me and projections. I did show you that out there.
Well, and that was the thing when I was doing the research too. Is like the train is really a character.
Oh, yeah.
Now I haven't seen it. I've not seen any, but as I read through, you could understand how important the train is as a character. And so you're reading about it in the 20s and how they literally they put wood down and got like an old wheelbarrow and put would do it backstage during the production to make the sound of the train on the tracks and just coming up with different ways because they didn't have the audio systems that we have now and everything, but just that it was so important that they were able to create that for the audience, the fact that there's a train going on.
Yeah.
And then when you and I were on the stage and you showed me how you're going to make that happen, get your tickets now. We've said it. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Doug Rumbaugh and AJ Givens. AJ Givens, my master carpenter, and Doug for going with my crazy idea. And I love them.
That's great.
They made it happen because I was iffy and I was like, and I'm like, okay.
We love those two individuals. They're part of that breakfast bunch that gets together on Saturday, the theater dads.
Amazing.
So
that's so great.
And
shout out to Caden too.
Yeah,
because he's been helping with the construction a great deal.
And that's what he did for a living, right?
Yes.
That just really goes back to
I just learned that.
He's been doing it forever on lots of very well-known production, TV and movies and things of that nature. And so we always love hearing the stories like when we meet at breakfast on Saturdays, like, oh, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to be, in Atlanta for a month, or I'm going to be here. And just great stories. Him and Ron used to work together, Ron Main.
Oh, okay.
And they used to build sets, in the industry. So it's like, but I mean, going back to the community, right?
Yeah.
People that have voice acting experience, people that have projection experience, people that have construction experience, and how they love to Doug, who had no lighting experience until he came here with his family like he did. And now he's the go-to, and not just lighting, but technical all around. AJ, another one who's come to the theater just recently and has taken over where, some other people that unfortunately can't help as much anymore and just really taken on that role. So community theater.
And
I'm sorry. I was just going to say it's so fun to see how they mentor each other and help train each other.
Yeah.
I have no skills, but they were showing myself and my husband how to put together.
Use a router, how to use a saw, how to use,
how to build.
And it's not just that.
How to hang a door.
Yeah, it's not just that. It's also doing the technical stuff, because I know that the community has, let's go up into the sound booth.
Yeah.
Let's go up into where the lights are, and let's go ahead and teach you how to run sound, how to
Absolutely.
do the lights, how to set them, when to turn them on, when to turn them off. Same thing with sound. It's, and that's the beauty of theater too. It's not just the actors, it's everything. You got to look behind the scenes of the stage manager. You got to look behind the scenes to the tech people, because without them, the story is nothing.
Exactly.
Correct. Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So speaking of that, how about costuming? Because I think that's such a big part, as well as the set and the audio and the lighting. And I say this all the time on our episodes. What I really love about our theater, even though it's small, is you come in from the outside and you sit in your seat, and all of a sudden you're in a train station, or you're in a courtroom, or you're in, and you become enveloped in that. And as we talked about the train being a character, the costumes really, as we sit here and look at wigs all around us as we're recording this in the ladies' dressing room, which I always love because it's actually great for sound because it absorbs everything with all those wigs up there. So costuming.
Okay, before I get to costuming, if you don't mind, scenic design, I dragged the person that did my scenic design for Christmas Carol. She's an amazing, amazing person. She's just, I think, started her first year, second year of college. So she's going to go into this for a living.
Love
scenic
this.
design. She wants to do like the technical, smoke effects stuff.
Yeah.
And she's really serious in going into it. So I'd asked her, I said, hey, I need you over in Chino, because she's out of Riverside. And I always think people don't want to travel, because I'm like, she's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, let me send you what I'm thinking. So the aesthetic, and this kind of runs into costume, right?
Yeah.
So my aesthetic and what I was pulling from was the Dick Tracy 1990 movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Sage, tell us her name.
Addison Snyder. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you very much.
Addison, yes. She's amazing.
Keeping us on track. The teacher is keeping us on track.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
And we all love that.
Yeah, so that Dick Tracy movie has those bold colors.
Yes.
It has that gangster feel. That's why we're in the 30s.
Okay.
So the gangster feel, those detectives.
Yeah.
So mixed with that, but then you look at 1930s comics. And started looking at that and those colors. We're trying to mix those costumes in the Dick Tracy era, that 90s movie, with that comic book feel.
Okay.
So Kathy Miller is my costumer. How lucky am
Kathy.
I?
Yes. She's
How
just
lucky.
so
She's
amazing.
incredible.
She's incredible. So we kind of sat down together and went through all the characters. And I said, okay, this character feels like this color and that color. And, with theater, everybody should know we have limited budget. So what a costumer can do is pure magic.
Yes.
Because our actors are all different sizes.
Yes.
And it's hard to costume
Yes.
different people.
Yes.
And so the costumer is it's a lot of work to try to figure out how do I get the director's aesthetic and then find the pieces.
Right.
She's done an amazing job. She really looks at detail.
And always does.
She always does. You can't even, how lucky am I?
Yes.
Right? So, yes, the costumes, we're going 30s style, and they're very, they fit the character. So, like I told you, the character Lena plays, a very independent woman, Elsie Winthrop. She's not in a typical 1930s dress, She's in a pantsuit kind of thing, which, again, adds to her character.
Yeah.
The costumes add to what that character is.
Of course.
And that's what she helped me work on. I mean, Kathy really...
She just understands that, and
she knows
she interacts well with the director to understand what and then I think she takes it to the next step, and she understands what each actor is about.
That's the beauty, because she also asks us for our input.
Yes.
Here's what we've got for you. What do you think? And I know that I contributed a little bit, and I think everybody in the group.
Community theater, I think that needs to happen, right?
Absolutely.
Because of our budgets and
Bring pieces from home. And
Yeah, exactly. Because I know I'm bringing at least one item from home. But the point is that, the again, community theater, we all are working together for the same thing. And if there's a chance that I, as an actor, or Sage as a director, can say, let's work on this, let's try to work to see how we can best represent your character.
yes,
Great.
it gives you comfort as an actor.
Exactly.
You're not wearing something that you're not comfortable in.
That's so important.
And you're not thinking about how to deliver that part of the show.
And it's actually part of the actor when you think about it, because it is part of the character that they are going to portray. If you're not wearing the right tie, for example, for a guy, you're going to feel uncomfortable in that role. But if you're going to, maybe have a little thing on you that maybe is like your own little personal item or icon, and it makes you feel much better, more comfortable in the character, do it. And that's the beauty of what Sedge and Kathy have done costume-wise, is they've allowed us that input along with other things.
Isn't that great? And then, you grow up as a kid and you put that cape on and you are Superman and you are Wonder Woman.
Boom.
You feel it.
Exactly.
And that's so important. That's great. Stage managing?
Well, Megan Jeffis, who's also playing a role, will be stage managing.
All right.
Since these folks are always on stage, the stage managing is some of the technical aspects, some of the sound that we're going to be doing backstage rather than through the sound booth. So they're basically, between Megan, Paul, and Dylan, they are going to be our stage crew working all that stuff in the back. And then yours truly will be there to support, of course.
Yeah. Anyone else that's part of the production, either on stage, backstage, or I know they're all wonderful, and it's hard to remember sometimes when we're under pressure. But and we love you all, everyone, and we do apologize if we didn't mention your name. But is there anyone before we close up here?
Well, I'll mention Kylie Reeves is going to be doing our lighting, and she has done so many productions. She is an incredible talent. With all the colors and the costumes and the scenic design and that feeling of claustrophobia and the feeling of them,
which I imagine is very important for this particular production.
Absolutely.
The intensity, that is going to come through with lighting and sound. Those two, I said from the very beginning, lighting and sound are actually as important as the actors are for this show, because of, like you said, that train is a character. Sound is a character. Yeah. And so
it's important.
Yeah.
It's important.
And I just want to have a shout out for our front of house, because it's community theater.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times we forget that if we don't have a box office manager and people greeting our guests to usher them to their seats.
Jamie, I have to tell you, I've been involved in every single episode that this Steps to the Stage has put out. And I believe this might be the first time that we've ever given a shout out to the house managers,
they are so
the ushers,
it's so important.
Selling the tickets, answering the phone, just those.
And a shout out also to the publicity director, hint, says, because that also is so important when it comes to community theater, to get the word out and get it publicized so that people will say, ooh, Ghost Train? What's this all about?
Yeah.
I want to see this.
And I have to say, this is one of the coolest publicity streams I've seen. So if you are on Facebook, look for a Ghost Train ad, because they're amazing.
Yeah.
Well, everyone.
Can I give one more shout out?
You absolutely can.
I want to give a shout out to Jack Friedman for helping us with props. It's a very prop heavy show. So we've all kind of helped on props, Chris, myself, and Jack, and we're all working the props because it is very heavy.
It's character as well.
And it's
like
vintage
costuming,
props too.
So,
I saw some of the suitcases and things out there already, and some of the stuff that's on the prop tables.
Yeah.
And
so
Jack
I want
has been very generous.
So
yes, very generous.
He has.
Well, everyone, if you haven't been convinced yet to buy your tickets, I'm not quite sure what else we can do. These three lovely individuals, Craig, Jamie, and Sage, thank you so much for spending some time with us, giving us a little bit about your story, but especially sharing the love of community theater. And we so appreciate what you do. And so if you are local here to the Inland Empire, we would love for you to get your tickets. Again, you can visit ChinoCommunityTheater.org, or you can call the box office at 909-590-1149. Our production opening is January 16th, and it runs through the 31st. Fridays and Saturday evenings are at 7:30, and Saturday and Sunday matinees are at 2:30. Quick question. Are you going to be doing gala?
Yes. So Friday opening of the first weekend, we do a reception after.
Yeah.
And then I want to mention
tradition, and we love that at CCT.
And I want to mention on the Saturday of that weekend, we are doing a 2-for-1. Now, you can only do that by calling the box office.
Okay.
It is not available online. And then on Sunday, we do a talk back with the cast and crew.
Love
if
those.
you have some
So
burning
great.
questions.
Yeah.
Bring them.
Yeah. So if you're local, please come by. And if you aren't, we want to hear from you. We're so excited that this podcast gets across the pond, as we like to say, and into many other countries, and then especially across here in North America. And, we're here to support community theater, and we'd love to hear from you. So send us a message. Follow us on all the socials. Follow Chino Community Theater on all the socials. And guys, we just so appreciate you and looking forward to this production. And we know it's going to be fantastic. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kirk. Thank you, Steps
Thank you
to the Stage.
very much. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Kirk.
it.
Thanks for listening to Steps to the Stage, a 7th Street Community Theater podcast. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review and a 5-star rating. It really helps. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Special thanks to Chino Community Theater and Chino Community Children's Theater for their generous support. And very special thank you to the listeners. Steps to the Stage was created by Joey Rice and Kirk Lane. Logo created by Marley Lane. Original music by Joey Rice. Your host, Kirk Lane. Engineer and producer, Joey Rice. Engineer and executive producer, Kirk Lane.